The rise of plant-based burgers like Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods has been met with widespread enthusiasm, especially from those looking to reduce their meat intake for health, ethical, or environmental reasons. Marketed as healthier alternatives to traditional beef, these products are popping up in fast food chains, grocery store shelves, and even upscale restaurants. But the glossy branding and feel-good messaging often mask a more complex and uncomfortable reality. These burgers may be meat-free, but they are far from natural, and calling them healthy can be misleading at best. At first glance, it's easy to see the appeal. Plant-based burgers are made without animal products, boast lower cholesterol, and claim to reduce the environmental impact of meat consumption. But those positives don't erase what these products really are: highly processed, laboratory-engineered foods built from isolated proteins, oils, starches, binders, and synthetic additives. The ingredient lists on products like Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods are long, technical, and difficult to decipher, not something typically associated with whole, nutritious food. Take Beyond Meat, for example. Its burger patties are made from pea protein isolate, expeller-pressed canola oil, refined coconut oil, rice protein, and methyl cellulose, among other ingredients. These components are stripped down, altered, and reassembled to mimic the texture and flavor of beef, but none of them resemble anything you'd cook with in a home kitchen. The result is a patty that may look and taste like meat, but is the product of intense food processing and industrial formulation. One major concern is the use of refined oils, especially canola and coconut oil. While marketed as healthier fats, these oils are often heavily processed and oxidized, which can contribute to inflammation and other chronic health issues when consumed regularly. High levels of saturated fat from coconut oil also make their way into these burgers, with some plant-based patties rivaling or even exceeding beef in terms of saturated fat content. This raises questions about whether these alternatives are truly better for heart health. Another issue lies in the sodium content. To achieve a savory, meat-like flavor, plant-based burgers often rely on a heavy dose of salt and flavor enhancers. A single Beyond Burger can contain over 350 to 400 milligrams of sodium, often more if it's part of a full meal. For people watching their blood pressure or trying to avoid processed foods, this is far from ideal. The illusion of health can be dangerous, especially when a food product is perceived as clean simply because it avoids animal ingredients. Impossible Foods takes the science even further by using genetically engineered soy protein and heme, a lab-grown compound designed to mimic the flavor and juiciness of real meat. While GRA, generally recognized as safe, status has been granted by regulatory bodies, the use of GMO soy and the novelty of lab-created heme have raised eyebrows among those concerned about long-term safety and the unforeseen consequences of consuming foods that have never existed in nature. The question also needs to be asked: if the goal is health, why not simply eat real, minimally processed plant foods? Whole beans, lentils, mushrooms, vegetables, and nuts offer fiber, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants without the need for industrial processing. But these require time, preparation, and sometimes an adjustment in expectations. Plant-based burgers, on the other hand, promise convenience and familiarity at the cost of transparency and purity. From a nutritional standpoint, these processed patties can be a minefield. They lack fiber compared to whole plant foods, contain additives like soy protein concentrate and modified food starches, and often include preservatives and texturizers that the average consumer knows little about. Over time, relying on these products as dietary staples could contribute to the same health problems associated with ultra-processed diets: metabolic dysfunction, weight gain, and increased disease risk. In the end, the idea that plant-based automatically equals healthy is a dangerous oversimplification. The reality is that Beyond Meat and similar products are closer to processed convenience foods than to true health food. While they may serve a purpose for occasional meatless meals or ethical alternatives, they shouldn't be treated as a health upgrade. For those truly looking to improve their diet, the focus should remain on whole, recognizable, nutrient-dense ingredients, not processed imitations made to mimic something they're not. So before celebrating your next meatless burger, it's worth asking, what are you really eating, and is it any better than the real thing? In many ways, these plant-based options may just be a new form of processed indulgence, wrapped in a different kind of packaging, but carrying many of the same old problems.